Hey guys, Havoc616 here with a brand new Lightning Arrow and Tornado Shot Deadeye build coming at ya. This is the build I recently played with the boys, Somed, Hui, Tai Killer, and Quantric to hit first 100 in Blight SC. So, if you're looking for a zoom build and like to push ladder, this might be the build for you. Alright, pros and cons, real quick. Pros, excellent mobility and speed, excellent ranged AoE clear, and it's pretty easy to fit in matchmaking gear to, build up that early bank and get rich early on. However, there are some cons. The build ain't perfect. As you can see, I have under 5k HP, so you could say it's a bit squishy. However, we kind of mitigate this with like super high damage, super high movement speed, evasion and dodge, and also, tried and true, just don't get hit, pretty much. Also, we can only run Phys Reflect or other Reflect maps when we have the cannot take reflected damage sextant. So, as you can see from this video, it's going to get quite crazy once we've reached our damage and speed thresholds, and in this specific case, if we get some like juicy buffs from items such as Inspired Learning and beyond, to get some zoom going. So let's take a look at the gear real quick. Go over each and every item. Starting off, the bow we selected was Ripper. It's a really high, fast attacking bow. Lots of attack speed, lots of crit chance, lots of flat added damage. It's going to be a common theme coming up when I talk over each item. I don't have a link right now, so I actually had 3 red sockets here to level up in powers, just to make more money, but I'll talk about what I could do with these links later on. So, add a dash for traveling, blink arrow for movement, and link to faster projectiles, since when you blink arrow, it is a projectile. And with fast projectiles, it allows you to get to your destination even faster. So, the gloves, 2 Abyss Jewels, make sure we have 1 Murderous Eye for Intimidate, 10% more damage, and a Searching Eye for Maim, which is pretty nice. As you see, lots of flat damage. It's all about getting the flat damage going on here, and this is how we make our character really strong, and of course some life if we can. And here we have Blasphemy plus Temporal Chains. This is just for a bit of defense, and we get to reserve this for free actually due to our amulet, Solstice Vigil. So talking about this amulet, why are we wearing this? This is for the very last mod. Gains Shaper's Presence for 10 seconds when you kill a rare or unique enemy. The TLDR of this is basically makes your buffs like flasks or Inspired Learning buffs last a bit longer, so you can get more juice, make your character even stronger, and just get exponentially more powerful. So at the top, you also will see allocates Throat Seeker. This is from the new anointment system in Path of Exile Blight. So I actually have Throat Seeker spec'd on my amulet, even though I'm nowhere close. I get 30 free multi from there, so that's like pretty sweet. Alright, let's look at our helmet real quick, another Abyss item, 2 Abyss sockets, what do we got in here? Some life, multi, flat, phasing really important to not desync. It's really nice, especially for proximity shields, and more life, flat, movement speed, multi, bunch of good stuff. We have precision here for some crit chance and some accuracy rating, level 1, since there's not too big of a difference between level 1 and level 20, according to POB, and this only reserves 22 mana. Having a decently sized mana pool is it's pretty nice, and run the highest Shell of Thunder we possibly can, again for more flat elemental damage. See, it's all about the flat, all about getting a lot of flat damage and attack speed and crit. This is the gist of the build. And again, same thing here, Shot of the Lightless, another Abyss Jewel, more flat damage. The nice thing about this chest is it's a lot cheaper. It's like a cheap 6-link, right? We bought this for around like 70C, 80C, when at the time, we were just trying to get a 6-link on a Queen of the Forest, or like a High Resire, which is also a great chest. One would argue an even better chest than Shard of the Lightless. But at the time, this was the cheapest option available on the market, and allowed us to scale all elemental damage pretty equally due to the level 20 elemental penetration gem, which is essentially a 37% penetration, which is really good. So in here, we got Tornado Shot, GMP, Mirage Archer, Ice Bite, and elemental damage with attacks support. This is what I believe is the optimal link for the setup. And if we want to play Lightning Arrow, literally all we have to do is gem swap, and yeah, it's easy and simple as that. So I can talk about Lightning Arrow versus Tornado Shot real quick, since this question gets asked a ton. Tornado Shot, great single target, great AoE clear in all map types. However, Tornado Shot was crashing us like 20 times a day. The crashes were so bad that they actually turned off OBS, and sometimes my monitor, sometimes on my whole internet. It was crazy. So we switched to Lightning Arrow, and the crashes like basically stopped. Only happened like a couple times after that. And this is usually happening as Betrayal Legion when firing into huge packs of mobs. It might be related to Inspired Learning and just having too many projectiles, but I'm not 100% certain yet, because I know people have been crashing with different skills too. Anyways, moving on. Oh, wait, I forgot. Lightning Arrow, sorry. Lightning Arrow has less crashes, again, not zero. Better AoE clear. Worse single target. Let's use another 5 or 6 link. This is where the Wind Ripper would come in. So we'd set up maybe a Tornado Shot or a Scourge Arrow set up here for some big single target damage. Yeah, and both skills, they excel with 2 projectile mechanics. What do I mean by 2 projectile mechanics? I'm talking about like fork and a chain. So I believe that is one of the ways to get really nice AoE clear. So right now, I got fork for my Rigwald's Quiver, and I have chain for my Ascendancy. I believe that's a good way to do it, you know? Let's say I didn't have a Rigwald's Quiver though. One of the options is I can go Drill Neck, you know? Pierce plus chain is also pretty good, right? Or maybe I can just go with like 6-link chest, right? This is something we were initially trying to do. Our initial goal was like a 6-link High Resire or a 6-link Queen of the Forest. And we wanted to potentially go triple chain. So we go chain gem along with chain from Sensei, get 3 chains, or maybe just do fork gem and chain. So there's a lot of room for experimentation here, and a lot of setups work well. So find what you like, experiment, and I'm sure you guys can get it going. All right, last but not least, we got the boots, our final links. We're running a Herald of Ash, linked to Burning Damage, Swift Affliction, and Elemental Focus, and just some life resist boots, and they also have some spell dodge on them, so these are pretty nice to give us a bit more tankiness again. Since our HP is kind of low, we rely a lot on not getting hit. So those are the links. In terms of gear, the belt we decided to choose was Bisco's Pleash. Gives us some quantity, some cold res, bit of rarity too, which is kind of nice, but the main thing is the Rampage. The Rampage is really good because it gives us 50% movement speed at 1,000 kills, which is awesome, just for going even faster. And it was also a fairly cheap item to get early on. Taking a look at the rings, got some life, some res. This is kind of a filler ring. This ring is honestly not that great. I probably should have done better than this, but at the time we just wanted to pour a lot of resources into maps. So yeah, life, resist, weaponality damage. If you want more juice on it, we want like flat damage and other cool mods like that. This ring is a bit better, a lot of resist, some, you know, some wed, and nice flat lightning damage crafted on top to do even more DPS. All right, so flask, you know, see the Divine Life Flask of Bleeding, nothing too special here. I usually actually go 0 HP pots, but I decided to keep one on this time, right? Because I was having some issues with degens in this push, especially because we weren't killing certain bosses fast enough. And I don't know, it just felt fine actually. But if I was to swap the flask, I would probably put in the Jade Flask here just to get a bit more evasion, since I am lacking some, since, you know, this chest only has like 1,000. I don't really have too much of my other pieces of gear, whereas I'd normally wear Queen of the Forest on this type of build, and that has like 2,000 evasion. Assault Flask, pretty standard, nice physical mitigation. I don't want to use a Granite because I have Acrobatics, which has my armor, so I use a Basalt Flask instead, mitigation. Dying Sign for extra projectiles, really good on Lightning Arrow or Tornado Shot. It's really nice. Alchemist Quicksilver goes without saying, gotta go fast. And a Diamond Flask of Warding, just to, you know, so we can do Elemental Weakness or Temporal Chains or any other map mods, and, you know, just so we don't get cursed, right? And also, Critical Strike Chance Lucky. Pretty good, pretty standard stuff there. Alright, let's go and take a look at the skill tree. On the skill tree, it's essentially, it's almost a pretty generic bow build. The main notables being Acrobatics and Phase Acrobatics for some more defense, and then Point Blank for more damage. So when we go into melee range, essentially, if we can stay there, we do a lot more damage. It's really nice for just blowing up bosses. So it's a very nice setup. So one thing you notice is I have a lot of jewel sockets here. So we have like 1, 2, 3 Abyss Jewels in the tree right now. I think this one has Onslaught. So yeah, an Onslaught's a really good Abyss Jewel to get, along with the Phasing Jewel I showed in my helmet earlier. Again, it's all about getting the flat damage. Flat damage will allow you to pop off late game. So I have 2 Inspireds, but I will show you guys a setup later on in this video where you do not need them, because essentially what the Inspired Learnings do, when you have 4 notables allocated in a radius and you kill a monster, gain one of its modifiers for 20 seconds. Basically, you want to do maps which have a lot of rare mobs in them, and you kind of want to hope you get lucky, you get all the speed mods, the quick mods, the big damage mods, so you can go really fast. So your gameplay will be very, very variable, but not consistent, right? You can make setups that can reach those faster speeds on a consistent basis, and I'll show you guys an example later on. So, taking a look at the Ascendancy real quick. We got Tailwind first, because you know, Tailwind is awesome. 1000 evasion rating, 20% more action speed. It's great stuff. After that, I'd go Far Shot into Chain, into Endless Munitions. This is basically my go-to Ascendancy order when playing a Deadeye, and I play a ton of Deadeyes. Yeah, so lots of Bestials for flat LE damage, lots of penetration. Oh yeah, penetration for resistant mods. So we have Premium Level Force and Force of Nature, really good nodes. There's a lot of really tanky mods, especially like bosses, and then you get map mods such as like endurance charges, or like monsters have like 30, 40 res. These penetration nodes are really great. Command of Elements also a not bad node, which you could possibly take later on. Also, I have one more special jewel here, Mantra of Flames. I wore this jewel because I was playing with a support and he gave me like 1,000,000 buffs. And I also got like 1,000,000 buffs just from like Inspired Learnings, killing a lot of mobs. So this jewel took my fire damage insanely high. It's not that high right now since I'm in my hideout, but it gets pretty high later on. So Pantheons, I went with Brine King. I remember the hotkey for this one. So I actually forgot the hotkey for the Pantheons right now. Is it Y? It's Y. There you go. So we got Brine King and we got Ralakesh. So this is just for reduced bleed damage taken since I'm not using an overtime flask. And this is just for stun immunity. I could maybe have gotten away with a different Pantheon. This probably was not totally necessary since I am a life-based character and I have some avoidance, stun avoidance on the tree from Ranger. Along with evasion, I could probably go with something else, such as Lunaris for more speed, or Arcali for the damage over the chaos damage I was taking in maps. That was getting fairly annoying. Alright, so now let's go and take a look at Path of Building. So I'll be posting this in the description so you guys can like play around with it and mess around with it too. So, you know, I always love to take this node, show node powers. You guys can see like, hey man, what's a really cool node? What takes my damage to the next level? Like, it's 2.8 per. So generally I try to go for nodes that are like 3% plus per and stuff like that, right? So Farsight, for example, is like a really good node, but I just didn't have the points for it in this setup. You could argue like, hey man, maybe you should drop a node like this. This is like not that great. It's only 2% per, right? But again, it's not always about DPS, right? For example, what does this node have? It's like 6%, 9% movement speed, cooldown, recovery speed of movement skills, and 205 evasion range. That's pretty nice for survivability, for moving around pretty quickly. So damage isn't always the answer, but most of the times it is. Not always. This has high mobility, which is why I took this node. So yeah, node there, nothing too crazy. So the main thing I wanted to show is actually the non-inspired learning setup and non-solstice vigil. So as you guys have noticed, I got 240k damage. I have like 100k more damage now. And what are the changes, you ask? Well, the changes are, first of all, we dropped Inspired Learning, so we moved this jewel that was here into here. We added a line as full, and then we just basically went and took all these crit multi-nodes, and we spec'd these dagger nodes. Then now you're probably thinking, yo, where do you get all these skill points from? Okay, I got these skill points from dropping my frenzy charges. Frenzy charges are honestly not that great. They're like 2.6 to 2.8% per. They're kind of all right. They're not the best. And the reason I actually took them earlier is because I was using Ice Bite, right? And the nice thing about Ice Bite is you can drop Blood Rage. And the reason I dropped Blood Rage previously was to avoid the degen, right? Because since I was using Inspired Learning, I was getting a large amount of energy shield here and there, right? And I wanted that, like, 500 to 2k HP buffer, so I didn't want to die, right? I want to keep my HP above 0. So this is a more defensive setup. You do lose a lot of damage doing it, but it was just enough to keep going by. And as I was playing with a support at times, so I could get away with lower damage and relying on Inspired Learning buffs to, crank me up to the next tier. However, if you don't have that option, you don't have friends to play with, then you might want to go with the more DPS heavy setup. So instead of using Ice Bite, you go with that cold damage, you run the Blood Rage, you don't spec the frenzy charges on the tree, and then you just try to get damage in whatever way you can, Always mess around with POB, take a break here and there, see what's optimal for your build. It's always a cool way to do it, just like see what's strong. And yeah, hopefully your bow adventures can go well. So I'm going to post both these Path of Buildings in the comment and description section below. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below or ask in our community Discord. And yeah, hopefully this video helps some of you guys. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can find me at twitch.tv/havoc616 for daily live streams. See ya.